everyone. Welcome to our session on harnessing Indigenous Hindu wisdom for a global resilience. Before we begin, let us offer our salutation and reverence to our Guru, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam. Let all sit straight. Nithyanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvadidam Gaganasadusham Tattvamasyadilaksham Eham Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadi Sakshibhudam Bhavatitam Trigunarahidam Satgurundam Namami. Nithyanandam, everyone. Today we will explore how Kailasa, revived by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, brings forth ancient yet revolutionary solutions to some of humanity's greatest challenges. Over the next 2 hours, we will see how the timeless 10,000-year-old Hindu sciences offer pathway to address climate change, public health crisis, food insecurities, and digital inequality. It's my honor to introduce our first presenter, Ma Vijayapriyananda, the permanent UN ambassador of Kailasa, the sovereign Hindu nation which today operates in over 150 countries through its de facto embassies. She'll be speaking on Kailasa's approach to climate action. Let me share slides.
Nithyananda. Yes, Nithyanandam, everyone. Yes, thank you so much. I hope I am audible. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. It's a great pleasure for me to be present here. And I welcome each and every one of you to our session today, which is on the harnessing the indigenous Hindu wisdom for global resilience and Kailasa's approach to climate action, public health, food security, and digital equity. So today we will explore how Kailasa, the first nation for Hindus, revived by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, has offers an ancient yet very revolutionary solutions to some of the greatest challenges that we are facing today. And so over the next 2 hours, we will journey into how the timeless sciences of Hinduism, shaped over more than 10,000 years, provide practical and powerful strategies to address climate change, public health crisis, and food insecurity, as well as digital inequity.
Nityanandam, everyone. We are experiencing some technical glitches. So Ma Vijay should be back on soon, continuing her presentation.
Nithyanandam, everyone. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining today. And it's a great pleasure to be here today. It's a great honor to be here with all of you today. And I welcome each and every one of you to our session on harnessing the indigenous Hindu wisdom for global resilience and Kailasa's approach to climate action, public health, food security, and digital equity. And so today, we are going to explore how Kailasa, which is the first nation for Hindus, the only Hindu nation that is revived by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, offers ancient yet revolutionary solutions to some of the greatest challenges that humanity is facing today. And so over the next 2 hours, we will journey into how the timeless sciences of Hinduism, shaped over more than 10,000 years, provide practical and powerful strategies to address climate change, public health crisis, food insecurity, and digital inequity. So to set the stage, I would like to share a few key highlights of Kailasa's contributions. Kailasa operates its humanitarian services in over 150 countries, and it has also established more than 16,638 spiritual embassies globally. And through its No Hungry Home initiative and the Nityananda Annalaya programs, it has served over 1 billion sattvic vegetarian meals worldwide and continuing. Kailasa has also digitized over 3 million ancient indigenous Hindu scriptures, creating the world's largest repository of spiritual indigenous sciences. And through the Ishanya project, Kailasa has set a bold target, which is to uplift 10 million people out of poverty in the near future. This session is about how the indigenous Hindu civilization that is revived by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism offers solutions for a sustainable, equitable, and enlightened future for all of humanity. And before we dive into this segment, which is climate action through conscious ecology, I would like to play a video where the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism himself is addressing this issue that we are facing today.
We can't wait. We can't postpone taking action to balance the climate and protect humanity. Climate change is the biggest problem. It's not imagination. It's not story. It's not theory. Hinduism can really solve the problems of the climate change. It can save the planet Earth and humanity.
Yes. Climate change is not an imagination, it is not a story, it is not a theory, as all of us would have realized now. And while the Earth climate has changed throughout its history, the current warming is happening at a rate not seen in the past 10,000 years due to human activities. Yet, if you look at the ancient Hindu civilization, it has achieved remarkable advancements in economics, technology, science, social systems, all while maintaining environmental harmony. You can also see here on the screen to the right, some of the advancements and contributions of the Hindu civilizations. And the ancient enlightened indigenous Hindu civilizations also once thrived across 56 nations, contributing significantly to global progress and accounting alone for more than 40% of the world's GDP circa 2,000 years ago. Non-vegetarianism, particularly the production and consumption of meat and dairy, contributes significantly to the environmental degradation through livestock farming. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has given us a very simple yet radical truth. He says, if just this one principle of Hinduism, that no cow meat is consumed, is followed, the whole global warming problem will be solved. No killing of cows, no animal farming for food. And this profound statement is not just a philosophy, it is now backed by modern science and hard data. So let us look at the numbers. Yes, thank you. And let's see here the root cause, the analysis of the root cause. See, if we look at the statistics here on the slide, you will see how livestock farming is responsible for over 18% of global carbon emission, more than the entire transportation sector combined. And a 2018 study covering 119 countries reported that 83% of agricultural land is devoted to livestock, including grazing and feed, yet it produces only 18% of global calories. Additionally, producing just 1 kilogram of beef releases as many greenhouse gases as driving 100 to 250 kilometers, while 1 kilogram of lentils is equivalent to just 4 kilometers of driving. The world's cattle alone consume enough food to feed 8.7 billion people, more than the entire human population. And in the next slide, yes, so now let us look at Kailasa's vegetarian mission. In 2019, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, a staunch advocate for environmental protection, proclaimed his commitment to eliminating non-vegetarian lifestyles from the planet and establishing vegetarianism as the natural way of life for all humanity. Under the leadership of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, millions of people worldwide have been initiated into vegetarian living through Vishesha Diksha, which is a powerful spiritual initiation. Now you may ask, what is the need for an initiation from an avatar of Paramashiva? The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is, as per the science of incarnation in Hinduism, he is the incarnation of Paramashiva, who is the primordial Hindu divinity. So you may ask, why do we need Vishesha Diksha, this powerful spiritual initiation, to bring this mass change, shifting people to vegetarianism? See, during this initiation, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism transmits spiritual energy to the initiates, which helps them to overcome cravings and attachments to non-vegetarian food. This energy transmission is intended to support the psychological and physical transition to a vegetarian or vegan diet. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has also revived the Bhaga Shastra, which is the ancient cookbook of sacred vegetarianism, ensuring that food is not only healthy but also prepared with spiritual consciousness, compassion and reverence for all life. The Bhaga Shastra was originally revealed by Paramashiva circa 60,000 years ago, and it was penned down, it was written more than 2,000 years ago, and the only surviving printed edition is today safeguarded in Kailasa's Nithyananda Jnanalaya, which is the world's largest Hindu library, and it is made completely free to everybody. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, through Kailasa, has served over 1 billion free vegetarian meals prepared according to the ancient indigenous Bhaga Shastra, incorporating the unique element of Aushadha, which is the medicinal herbs, to support the physical health and nourish the body and mind as a path towards enlightenment, not merely to satisfy hunger, but also to overcome all sorts of cravings. the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, has also revived Nirahara Samyama, which is a powerful discipline that reduces food cravings and promotes energy rejuvenation, detoxification, and heightened awareness through advanced techniques of prana circulation and deep meditative practices, ultimately supporting increased vitality and longevity. And next we are going to take a look at the revolutionary dairy systems in Kailasa. Kailasa has redefined the dairy practices through its ahimsa, meaning the non-violent dairy initiative, which is a complete departure from the exploitative industrial farming. And in this sacred system, when the cows are no longer able to produce milk, they are not sent to slaughterhouses. Instead, they are lovingly cared for and protected for their entire lives. This eliminates one of the key drivers of methane-heavy beef production, significantly reducing greenhouse gas emissions. In the Hindu tradition, as some of you may know, cows are honored as Go Mata, meaning mother, the ever-giving, nourishing mother. The ancient scriptures such as the Srimad Bhagavatam list the cow among the 7 mothers of humanity. And the cow-based byproducts such as milk, dung, urine are used not for profit but for organic farming, Vedic rituals and natural fertilizers, creating zero waste, closed-loop ecosystems. And so therefore, by replacing the chemical fertilizers with natural alternatives such as the cow dung and urine, greenhouse gas emissions, particularly nitrous oxide from industrial agriculture, are drastically reduced. Organic cow-based farming also enriches the soil health, improves carbon sequestration, and reduces dependency on fossil fuel-intensive chemical outputs. Now, let us look at the reforestation initiatives of Kailasa and the various environmental initiatives. Kailasa is spearheading a global reforestation mission rooted in the Hindu principle that the earth is sacred and alive. The earth is mother. Already, thousands of sacred oxygen-yielding trees have been planted across Kailasa's spiritual embassies and ecosystems. Kailasa's ecosystems maintain over 1,008 medicinal oxygen-rich plants such as tulsi, aloe vera, and neem, which are recognized in Ayurveda for their healing and environmental benefits. In regards to the zero waste and plastic-free policies of Kailasa, for over a decade, Kailasa has enforced a complete ban on single-use plastics across its ecosystems in more than 100 countries. Instead, it promotes time-tested biodegradable Vedic alternatives such as areca leaf and banana leaf plates, neem wood toothbrushes, earthenware and copper utensils. And with the world producing more than 40 million tons of plastic waste annually, these ancient solutions offer a scalable, sustainable model for modern societies. Now let us look at the global impact of Kailasa's initiatives. Kailasa's spiritual embassies and organizations in more than 150 countries function as a living laboratory for ecological policies, demonstrating that sustainable practices are not just theories but they are working models. Our representatives actively contribute to international dialogue, including the United Nations Environment Programme, amplifying indigenous solutions at the global stage. By transitioning towards Kailasa's plant-based, ahimsa-driven model, vast ecosystems currently destroyed for livestock could be restored to forests, wetlands, and grasslands, reversing centuries of environmental damage. The Ishanya project, which is a unique project initiated by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam. And so beyond the climate action, also the Kailasa integrates sustainability into every model, every aspect of human life through this project, the Ishanya project, which is a massive recycling and reuse initiative collecting surplus medical equipments, clothing, digital tools from developed countries and redistributing these resources to underprivileged regions via Kailasa's global infrastructure, bridging inequalities while reducing waste. And this is completely free of cost, the entire process end to end, from the collection to the redistribution. It is made, this service, this project is made completely free of cost to all. And as the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam emphasizes, repair, reuse and recycle have been the functional principles of Kailasa for the last 27 years. And the vision is that through its ecological policies, the grassroots projects, and the international advocacy, Kailasa demonstrates how the indigenous Hindu wisdom that has been revived by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, can reshape the global systems, making sustainability not just achievable but also inevitable. And with this, I come to the end of the presentation of this section, which is on climate change and climate action. But however, before ending, I would like to play a short video again from the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. Let us hear from the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism directly what he has to say about climate change. What is the key cognition that humanity needs to have in order to eliminate the climate crisis that we are all facing today. It is very simple solution addressing the root issue, but what is required is a cognitive shift in humanity.
We human beings need to wake up to the reality. Mother Nature, Moola Prakriti, is a living being, consciously, independently intelligent, living being. Then we will address the climate crisis from the right point of view. Only understanding from the point of view of karma, climate crisis can be handled and resolved, never through the maths, but through the principle of karma, cause and effect.
Thank you so much, and I hope this segment was informative to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ma Vijaypriya, for those beautiful insight of how what Kailasa is prepping for the climate initiatives. Next, we move to the presentation on food security. I will be the presenter for that segment. So let's get started. So, little about me. I am a chief data architect, which had about more than 20 years' experience in Canada. I am also a representative of Nithyananda Meditation Academy, which is the Kailasa chapter in Canada. My work bridges the fields of science, technology, diplomacy, and Indigenous knowledge system with the focus on advancing the UN Sustainable Development Goals. I am particularly engaged in exploring how Indigenous wisdom, holistic health practices, and modern data driven solutions can come together to address pressing global challenges from mental well being and climate resilience. It is an honor to be here to contribute to this important conversation on creating equitable, inclusive, and sustainable future. So, what is global food security crisis as of today? Despite the world producing more food than ever, hunger remains a critical issue. Millions face dire food insecurity daily. 673 million people were undernourished, and an alarming 2.3 billion people suffered moderate to severe food insecurity. 300 million people in crisis level situation, including 1.9 million facing catastrophic hunger. So let's look at what is Kailasa's indigenous contribution to the UN Zero Hunger Goal. Through the vision and leadership of SPH Bhagavan Sri Nithyananda Paramashivam, Kailasa is contributing directly to the UN Zero Hunger Goal by reviving sacred Hindu food system that treat food as medicine and distribution as a spiritual responsibility. Kailasa has 16,638 food bank across 196 countries. It has touched more than 1 billion people through sattvic meals and 12 million people assisted through No Hungry Stomach campaign in 80 countries. By integrating Vedic agriculture, seed sovereignty, sustainable organic farming, and advanced yogic sciences like Nirahara Samyama, SPH and Kailasa offer not only emergency relief, but also long-term resilience, providing the ancient knowledge when combined with the modern humanitarian frameworks can create a world where no being goes hungry. Now let's hear it, each of the item which Kailasa contributes to the zero hunger goal of the UN. Let's take one at a time. The first one is treat food as medicine. Let's hear it from Supreme Pontiff of himself on this, why the food need to be treated as medicine.
Fasting we do for Skanda Sashti, 6 days. And every Pradosham, every Ekadasi, Vaishnavites do on Ekadashi, Shaivites do on Pradosham. All this helps you amazingly to balance your Ronanir and program that Ronanir. Langanam Parama Aushadam. Fasting is the greatest medicine. Hunger is the greatest space to exist. Start developing taste for being hungry. I tell you.
With that said, from Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism himself, how the ancient wisdom meets modern science on treating food as medicine. SPH Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam has refined food not merely as biological necessity, but as a spiritual process. In Kailasa, every meal is treated as a prasada, a sacred offering, prepared with devotion, pure intent, and often enriched with aushada, medicinal herbs. Langanam Parama Aushadam. What we just heard from SPH himself directly on fasting, even our scriptures, one of the scripture, Charaka Samhita, says Langanam Parama Aushadam. Fasting is the supreme medicine. Ancient understanding. Thousands of years ago, Hindu civilization understood the profound connection between diet, body, and mind. Spiritual and health practices such as fasting or the breath regulations or dietary guidelines, not only for spiritual growth, but for optimal psychological and mental health. Modern science validates ancient wisdom, whether the neuroplasticity or gut microbiome or homeostasis benefits, all of them validates what ancient wisdom had already shared. Fasting enhances the brain's ability to form new neural connection, supporting learning and memory. Periodic fasting allows the gut to rest and repair, promoting diverse, healthy microbial population while reducing the systematic inflammation. So, what is the takeaway? What was once considered purely spiritual discipline is now scientifically validated as the framework for holistic health, demonstrating the timeless wisdom of Hindu civilizational understanding of body, mind, spirit harmony. So now the second aspect, what Kailasa is promoting, is Annadan. Annadan is food distribution as a spiritual practice. Annadan is not a charity. It is a sacred duty and a path to enlightenment. SPH emphasized the principle Annadan is Mahadan, the greatest donation, deeply rooted in Hindu scriptures and traditions as well. Taittiriya Upanishad says, let food indeed is life force. Let food be produced in plenty. That's what Taittiriya Upanishad said. What Bhagavad Gita chapter 3 says, all beings born of food, this sacred verse reveals the cosmic cycle, food from rain, rain from sacrifice, sacrifice from righteous actions. So what is the global impact Kailasa is creating? Under the SPH Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam vision, Kailasa has become a global force in advancing zero hunger by integrating indigenous Hinduism with modern humanitarian frameworks. Kailasa has about 16,638 food banks in 196 countries. It has served more than 1 billion people with No Hungry Stomach initiative. And one interesting fact is because of the modern global network Kailasa has established, within 36 hours, it was able to distribute 150,000 organic medicinal meals for a one full moon festival. What are the lessons learned from indigenous wisdom? Decentralized, community-led initiatives, spiritually grounded, culturally aligned practices, environmentally sustainable, protecting ecological balance. Scientific studies shows that community-based food sharing reduces hunger, strengthen social cohesion, and enhance resilience during crisis. Exactly what Annadan achieves through spiritual practice. Now let's move on to the next aspect, what Kailasa promote. One of the yogic science, Nirahara Samyama. Nirahara Samyama is a spiritual practice revived by SPH Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam. It's aimed at transcending the need for solid food by awakening the body's innate ability to derive energy from the environment, purifying the body and mind by removing toxins and mental blocks to prepare for higher energy absorption, channeling prana inward, directing life energy prana to nourish the body internally, activating metabolic and regenerative process, restoring the body's natural ability to self-sustain and heal. This reduces the food dependency. So food sources, decreasing the reliance on external food sources by tapping into environmental energy. So let's hear from a video where the Acharya are introducing this yogic science practices to the participants.
Complete those.
Eat 3 meals a day. If you don't eat, you will become weak, and different things like this. But did you know your body has a hidden intelligence to produce its own food directly from the sun without the need of any external substance? Almost like a plant. This is the science of Nirahara Samyama as revived by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam. Today in this video, we are going to explore this incredible science. We'll be explaining what it is, how it is so powerful for your body and mind, and how you can make use of this dormant energy within you. It is a secret drink, the drink of life energy itself. Swamiji again and again says, by a constant overdosage of solid food in our system, we have forgotten this natural ability that we all have. Nirahara Samyama, as initiated by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, is the process of reawakening this ability, this power within us.
First, let us be clear. This isn't about starving yourself. It is about breaking our unhealthy relationship with food. Look into your life. How many times have you eaten because you were stressed, bored, or angry, but not because you were truly hungry? Food can fill an empty stomach, but it can never fill an empty heart. Nirahara Samyama teaches you how to complete those emotional incompletions from within.
So with that brief of yogic science, if any of you are interested further on this particular science, there are tons of online contents from Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism himself introducing the practice, as well as other participants who have gone through the 3-level of program. Please refer to those online material if you guys are interested on that. So what is the science behind this practice? Understanding Nirahara Samyama. The human's body's potential rooted in the cognition that the human body can harness energy directly from air, sunlight, and space. Similar to how plants produce food through photosynthesis, the body can synthesize its own energy. SPH emphasized that solid food accumulation suppress this innate capability over time. So now let's look into, it's just the addition to that Nirahara Samyama. Nirahara Samyama is a conscious-based solution. It's not merely abstaining from food, but channeling the body's energy inward, creating a more sustainable and equitable food system through conscious transformation. No feeding everyone directly, but changing human consumption patterns, promoting conscious, mindful eating practices, decreasing demand on global food resources for sustainability. So now we move to the conscious agriculture, which it's called Virikshaya Ayurveda. It represents the ancient Hindu science of plant consciousness, a holistic approach recognizing that plants, soil, and ecosystems are living, sentient entities. So, what were the traditional practices? Chemical free cultivation, natural methods of organic composting, cow based manure, and lunar planting cycles. Also, natural rhythm planting and harvesting aligned with natural cycles for maximum vitality. So, SPH guidance on conscious agriculture. He says the connection between food and human well being are interconnected. SPH emphasized the profound connection between agriculture and human well being. He critiques how chemical laden and industrially processed food negatively affect brain function, muscular health, emotions, and thought process. Pure food enhances cognitive clarity and mental well being. Conscious agriculture supports elevated consciousness. Natural foods support muscular health and vitality. Sacred foods promote emotional stability and spiritual growth. Here you could see some pictures of the organic garden where Swamiji's, the sannyas order is made to grow their own food in India. Modern implementations of Kailasa's Department of Agriculture. Kailasa's Department of Agriculture is integrating ancient wisdom with contemporary practices. It integrates Vedic and agamic wisdom to inform policies on agriculture, rural development, and food system prioritizing. Maintaining harmony between all living systems, protecting and nurturing diverse plant and animal life, and creating prosperity through conscious practices. The vision is to build self-reliance through sacred, sustainable agricultural system where land, soil, and seeds are treated as living deities, making farming a spiritual practice that aligns ecological stewardship with human consciousness. Now let's see what Kailasa's contribution to seed sovereignty and food preservation. Kailasa's farm serves as living seed banks, safeguarding indigenous seeds that maintain biodiversity, resilience, and cultural heritage. Each seed embodies centuries of agricultural wisdom, nutrition, and spiritual significance. Ancient Hindu practices ensure seeds and food are preserved without refrigeration, plastics, or chemical through dyeing, natural fermentation, and earthen storage. Seed preserved in temple towers reflect the sacred connection between spirituality, food, and life, safeguarding varieties for future generation. Every Kailasa farm cultivates varieties of plants, herbs, and crops to protect genetic diversity and sustain ecological balance. Hereditary is one such herb which has tremendous impact on human system. It purifies and detoxifies naturally, boosts blood oxygen level up to 300%, enhances awareness and cognition, addresses physical and mental imbalances. So according to the UN Food and Agriculture Organization, 75% of global crop diversity has been lost in the last century. This loss threatens food security, nutrition, and ecological resilience. So, what is the takeaway? Seed sovereignty is more than conservation, it is a holistic system of biodiversity, nutrition, and spiritual stewardship, safeguarding the genetic and cultural legacy of humanity while promoting resilience, sustainable, and sacred food system. With that, we come to the end of this presentation, which is on the food security. Now, next, we will be moving to public health. So, it's my pleasure to welcome Ma Pushkala Nithya. She is a public health professional and a yoga practitioner. She has hands-on experience alongside nurses and frontline staff, including international and refugee population. Ma Pushkalananda is also a representative of Nithyananda Sangha Malaysia. Today, she will be speaking on revolutionary public health through conscious and ancient wisdom. Ma Pushkalananda, over to you.
Thank you so much, Matrushi. Good afternoon and greetings to all the honorable delegates and the respected colleagues present here with us. I'm very excited to take forward the next presentation in the revolutionary public health through the consciousness and ancient wisdom. So as we understand, today we stand at a crossroads. Modern medicine has indeed achieved remarkable advances, yet it still focuses largely on the symptoms and interventions, often overlooking the deeper root cause of health and diseases. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Sri Nithyananda Paramashivam, reveals a profound truth. True health is the uninterrupted flow of prana, the very subtle life force energy that animates every cell. This pranic energy is even more fundamental than oxygen itself. So when prana flow is disrupted by stress, toxins, or unconscious living, diseases begin. Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism teaches that prana sustains not only psychological functions, but also mental clarity and spiritual awakening. Hence, through the revival of Siddha, Ayurveda, yoga, meditation, and yogic sciences, Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism offers practical methods to awaken pranic vitality, restore balance at every level of our being. This conscious health paradigm is not just a philosophy, it is a scientifically verifiable system that provides a new direction for a global public health rooted in the very science of consciousness. Let us now explore a little deeper into the dimension of prana. So this is not just an abstract concept from an ancient text, but it is a very living, vibrant energy that actually governs our very existence. So as per the Prashna Upanishads, there is a declaration from the foundational Shastra of Sanatana Hindu Dharma from the chapter 3, verse 3, that basically declares that the vital air prana is a life force. It is indeed the seal of the breath. However, something deeper, something more subtle than that is the prana. So this sacred verse beautifully establishes that life itself is the breath, but more than that, the breath is only the outer expression of something more subtle and more powerful, known as prana. Every cell carries intelligence. It has memory and the potential for health. When Kundalini, the latent cosmic energy, is awakened, it aligns the cellular intelligence. It dissolves the negative patterns, it enhances the vitality, and deepens our connection to the universal consciousness. So here we have the representation of the 5 aspects of prana, which are central to this process, known as the apana, that is the process of cleansing and elimination, the process of udana, which is the upward energy, speech, vitality, samana, which is the process of digestion and metabolism, vyana, which is the process of circulation and systematic flow, ultimately prana, which is the respiration, the very energy and rejuvenation. Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Sri Nithyananda Paramashivam, reveals that these are not just metaphors, they are the very bioenergetic realities. And when harmonized, health is not managed, but it is actually mastered. Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism revives this truth. Prana is not just oxygen, it is not just merely air. It is the very conscious bioenergy, the fundamental force sustaining biology, awakening consciousness. It is the prana that actually empowers the oxygen to become usable cellular fuel. It drives the ATP production, detoxification, does the DNA repair, and the process of rejuvenation. Hence, when prana flows freely, the body's natural intelligence just shines. Immunity rises, the energy balance, and balance happens effortlessly. But when it's blocked by stress, poor diet, or negative emotions, the disease is born, not from the absence of medicine, may I remind you, but from the absence of prana. Ancient yogic science is revived by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, such as pranayamas, bandhas, nitya kriyas, are the very living technologies to harmonize the pranic flow. This is not just a theory, but practical. It is repeatable science of conscious public health. Now, before we move forward, let us just watch a short video on the vision and the contribution of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism in public health. Through the revival of Nitya Kriyas, Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has built a powerful bridge between ancient yogic sciences and the modern healthcare.
The science of Kriyas.
Blood flow, breathing air flow, thought flow. You have something called energy flow continuously happening in you. In this energy circulation, energy flow, if there is a disturbance in some part, for example liver, kidney or heart, intestine, at some part, if there is a disturbance in this energy circulation, that is when you start developing diseases and disorders and disturbances. Disease, disorders, disturbances expresses itself in different ways.
The human body has 7 circuits: blood circuit, circulatory system, nerve circuit, the nervous system, prana circuit, the respiratory system, digestive circuit, excretory circuit, reproductive circuit, and energy circuit. Of these circuits, the energy circuit is governed by the Kundalini energy. Though not spoken much by the medical science, but elaborate references have been given for Kundalini energy in the Vedic tradition. The Kundalini energy is the innate, immense potential energy in every individual that helps complete the energy circuit. How does Kundalini energy reach different parts of the body? Let us take the example of a water tank. A water tank is a structure which stores water. This water is distributed to different places through the pipelines, which forms a circuit. The pipelines end in outlet taps, through which the water reaches the end users. Similarly, the Kundalini energy reaches the different parts of the body through the 72,000 nadis or energy channels. Let's say, for instance, there is a block somewhere in the circuit of pipelines. Then what happens? There is no flow of water. Then you identify and correct the block. Even if the blockage is removed, water has to be pumped in for the flow to resume. Similarly, when there is a block in the energy circuit in the body, there is impedance to energy flow forward, and it results in disease in that particular organ. The Kundalini energy in our body is like the water in the water tank. Kriyas are powerful tools which help to remove the energy blockage and restore the energy flow. When the body is aligned in certain postures during Kriyas, the energy block is removed. Once the block is removed, the kumbhaka pumps in the Kundalini energy, just as the water gets pumped in to the pipeline once the block is removed. When the energy flow is re-established, energy starts flowing and the disease is healed.
Now, if your body is put in certain position, that energy blockages get removed. The energy circulation, that plumbing gets properly aligned. The wiring gets properly aligned. After that, the kumbhaka starts pumping the energy into that circuit. See, putting your body in certain asana makes the circuit blockage free. The circuit becomes perfect. But only through the kumbhaka, the energy gets pumped into the circuit. This is exactly the principle on which Kriya works.
Yes. So as you can see, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism offers tools that are both spiritually authentic, scientifically impactful, reshaping the individual healing and global wellness. Next, I'd like to introduce you to the Nitya Kriyas for the care and cure. So as per Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, these are unique contribution to healing at the root. It combines yoga, breathing, visualization, and meditation to detoxify, release the stored traumas, and restore balance. Nitya Kriyas are uniquely